Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Ladies Best Life podcast. I have got a fabulous guest with me today. This lady has been inside the coaching club for 12 months now. When this is released, it's going to be 12 months. And Cazzy, or as she just introduced herself, is Caroline. She watched me for a long time before joining CC, and her journey has been nothing short of inspirational. 2 young kids, corporate career, life is busy, but she is massively smashing through any limiting beliefs, any stories, any hurdles she faces. And the best thing is, we're not fucking stopping. So I want to talk to you today about Cazzy's journey. I want Cazzy to be kind of free and open and explain as many different things as she is prepared to explain, because I'm sure that everyone listening to this can take a lot from Cazzy's journey. So Cazzy, hello. Thank you so much for having me here. Introduce a little bit more about you, life. Just let people have a bit of an insight into you.
Yeah. Okay. So I am, and I always have to think about it. Like, am I 36 or am I 37? I'm 36. Are you sure? Yeah, I think so. I have 2 young daughters, 5 and 16 months. As you say, I have a busy corporate career. Life is relatively busy. Prior to joining CC, as you say, I had watched your stories for quite a while. I've always been interested in fitness and health lifestyle, but never quite found a way of getting it to stick. But I used to love weight training, things like that. The main downfall was trying to get time to do it all. It was always bottom of the priority pile, looking after everybody else first, people pleasing going on. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
That's me in a nutshell.
Okay, yeah, because I always remember watching your stuff, watching your stories and stuff like that, and being you loved training, you loved getting after it, you seemed really clued up, you were never short of effort in understanding things and kind of researching things.
Yeah. So
because obviously you 2 stone down.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. Yeah. So what, other than so how have we gotten over the people pleasing? How have we improved the boundaries? What has changed?
Yeah, so the main change is actually acknowledging the fact that I had a problem.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. It's funny because when it comes to mindset and emotions and stuff, unless somebody says something to make you realize something about your behavior, but unless you're in that position to accept it and change it, you're not going to hear it and not going to do anything about it. So for me, it was getting to that point of accepting that, there was a different way and a different path for me. And that I didn't really regulate my emotions very well, which led to stress, overwhelm, not planning things correctly, just not giving myself the time and the space to understand me in order that I operate at a higher level. Essentially,
because it's because this is the thing, so you said that you kind of had to accept that was the problem and that was the challenge. Was it even acceptance, or was it awareness to begin? Were you even aware that was a problem?
No, probably awareness. Yeah, completely blind to it, to be honest. And it's funny because when I come to Tribe, before I had even joined CC, we were talking about values and who are you as a person and all this stuff. I was got bloody clue who I am or what my values are. What do I enjoy? All I can tell you is I've got 2 kids and I work and, I do a bit of this on the weekend and this, that and the other. But no, actually, who am I as a person? What do I stand for? What are my morals and my values in life? Where do I want to be? Do I have any goals? I didn't know. I had no idea. So... But I came in wanting weight loss and sustainable weight loss, but that kind of opened my eyes to, actually, I think there's more going on here. And I think you need to understand yourself more before you can be happy in yourself and then have these great habits and standards and take care of yourself better.
Okay, because we will have some people listen to this who will be fuck all of the values, the needs, fuck all of that shit, right? Yeah. I don't want to, I don't have time for that. I just want to get lean, right?
Good luck.
Okay, so why do you think it's good luck? Like, because you've walked that walk now.
Yeah. It's behavioural thing. You can't. Nothing's going to stick unless you change who you are behaviourally. If you've got an ingrained behavioural pattern of self-soothing with food, or people pleasing and putting yourself at the bottom of the pile, or being passive aggressive or picking arguments with your partner and not dealing with the root cause of shit, you're always going to revert back to your comfort zone, which is probably food or binging at the weekend, drinking at the weekend, unhealthy social patterns. So if that's already a part of you, good luck trying to change it without addressing the root cause of the problem.
Yes. And we always say this, don't we? Like, you can't just put a plaster over a wound that needs a stitch. You absolutely need to go deeper. And I think sometimes people think that, it's unnecessary. But if you look at like how many things had you tried before CC?
Yeah, I've done Cambridge. I've done, variations of Slimming World and stuff. I've done the what's it called, the Forever Clean 9 a few
shot in that aloe shit,
which has its place, but it's not a long-term recipe for success. None of it is. And ultimately, I've always reverted back to that overeating and not prioritizing my health and well-being. Always.
It's bad because so many people are like, they, and I know you've mentioned this actually, and it could be really important to share, how you get the shiny object.
Oh yeah, I'm well bad for that. So terrible for that. Yeah, absolutely. Like if I see a way of getting there quicker by, spending money on something over here that's going to give me, the outcome that I want in a lot less time, yeah, all for that. And it happens now, but at least I've got the awareness to say, I don't really think that's going to help, is it? But yeah, I've done that historically. I've always kind of looked for a quick fix. Because I didn't know that actually it's the inner work that needs to be done. You need to fix that part first, and then the rest will flow, and even at the start of my CC journey, I'd get frustrated, £1 here, £2 there. And whilst that's really good and takes a lot of effort, it's like, I want it all gone now.
Yeah.
But then when I started realizing that it, took a lot more than that, and the other benefits and the other things that I was building into my life, you just kind of, that will be a byproduct of the transformation that's going on in my mind.
Yeah. And like, at what point did you have the buy-in to the other progress? So at what point was it like, okay, I'm going to stop being so kind of like, what word can we use? I was going to say desperate, but like, how can we flip it from just being solely vision focused on fat loss? When did you, fixated, great word. When did you kind of have that shift and go, actually there's more to this?
Yeah, do you know what? It's been fleeting. There's been times when I've had that revelation and observation, and then it's kind of petered off, and then it's come back again, and then it's petered off. It does ebb and flow. I think the first time was just when I was finishing my maternity leave, ready to go back to work, because that was like a really, really crucial time for me. And one of the reasons I joined CC was because knowing I was going back to work after maternity leave, I didn't want to go back with the same mindset I had the previous time, because it was really difficult the first time. I suffered with like imposter syndrome and just didn't feel confident or comfortable going back. So this time when I went back, totally different mindset, totally different ball game. Went back with a lot of confidence, and it was a much smoother transition. The habits prior to going back to there that I was implementing, like going for walks every day, prioritizing like hydration, like the things I was eating, and it was just all natural rather than forced. So it's like, I actually enjoy this, and this is part of who I am now. So that was, one of the first realizations. And then I think more recently, been reflecting a lot more on my behavior, and it's given me some real breakthrough moments around stuff, and that has then led on to me being able to maintain a higher and better level of nutrition, and then obviously the fat loss that comes with that. So there's been different points where I've had different realizations that it's more about the process that you're going through and changing how you see things and see the world and how you manage things yourself, rather than just focusing on calories.
Yeah. And like you said before, if you are literally just like focused on calories, you're not looking at, like we said about the whole root cause of it. So why are you, what, like you said, like it could be that argument with your partner, which then causes you to go, oh, fuck this, I just want a glass of wine, which then leads into a bag of Maltesers, you know? So it's, look, you have to go a couple of steps back.
Yeah.
So I know, like, because I sometimes feel like, who am I to talk about fitting everything into your busy life when I don't have children, right? So I obviously help a lot of women who have children. So I can be a bit like, you know what, fuck you, I know what I'm talking about. But there is no better way than for it to come from someone who is walking that walk, so that path. So you got a corporate career, 2 young girls, run a house, got a partner. How are you doing it? What is your secret?
So Google Calendar, for a start. I can give it a shout out on this. Changed my life. I literally had no idea before. Like, I'd know in my head what I was doing, but seeing it put down on paper or in Google Calendar, you know, with nice color blocks and all fancy stuff that you can do, was just a revelation to see, like, well, this is how I'm spending my time. These are where the gaps are.
Yeah.
And this is where I can then fit stuff in. Just, yeah, it literally changed my world. And when I was going through a really bad time in the summer with some like family stuff, it was literally the only thing that kept me organized and kept me going. Like, I'd get up in the morning and be like, what the bloody hell am I doing? Oh yeah, check your Google Calendar. Right, okay, that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm going to do. Because it just removes the, you know, having to think about it, removes the decision making. It's just in there and you do it and you go for it. So yeah, Google Calendar.
Love that.
Planning and prepping, number one. And then I suppose being able to communicate a bit more effectively around some of the stuff that's in there. Does it really need to be in there? Should you be doing it? Could you give it to someone else to do, or can it be removed entirely? You know, and having the confidence to do that or communicate that, you know, it's a big step in the right direction. And prioritization, probably say, is a big one for me as well. You could look at the things that I need to do on any given week and say, well, where the bloody hell do you find the time to go to the gym? Well, because I make time and I make it a priority. It's a priority for me physically and mentally that I go and have that time for me. That's how I enjoy to spend my maybe 1 hour every 3 days on my own. It's to do that. So if I don't put it in, it's not happening. Yeah, I do that for me and to making sure these things are a priority.
Incredible. And like, did it feel overwhelming? Did it feel hard? Like, talk us through, because obviously when you joined, you had the same amount of time.
Yeah.
So how has the journey felt? So then you said planning, you said Google Calendar, and you said prioritization. So like, has it been hard work?
It was a bit alien at first. It's hard work making it a habit. Yeah, hard work actually doing it. Like, to sit there and like, oh, right, I need to do this, this, and this. And, you know, you get little hacks, like you'll set something as recurring.
Yeah.
Because essentially, you know, you have to do it every day. Yeah. So just set it to recur. Yeah, so it's got easier as it's gone through. That the hard bit is just making it a habit and, yeah, just investing that time in yourself, making the time to look forward and plan and putting that in there. Like, obviously, like half terms come up, for example. It's like, well, you know it's coming, so sit down, carve some time out to plan it in beforehand, rather than it getting there and being like, shit, what are we doing today?
I now have the kids for a whole 9 days.
So yeah.
And what do you do during half term? Like, are things the same, or do you have to manage expectations?
Yeah, massively have to manage expectations. There's no way I'm, you know, getting as many steps in as I'd like, unless we're on an active day out anyway. You know, I can try and drag my kids to her.
We've had that battle before.
Yeah, but, you know, it doesn't always go to plan. And the gym obviously generally has to be stopped unless I can go in an evening when my partner's back from work. But I like to go every morning, so I have to set that expectation. You're not going to go, that's fine. And then around meals and stuff as well, I'm a massive one for routine. Like, if I'm at work, I know what times I'm going to be in. I can prepare my lunch, take it with me, etc. If I'm in the house, it's, you know, danger zone, red flag for being able to snack and stuff. So yeah, it does change. I have to accept that I'm not going to operate at top level if I'm in that situation. But there's stuff I can do to mitigate it. I don't have to fall back into the old traps. but it's not going to be ideal week for me. But we adapt and overcome.
We do adapt and overcome. And actually, like, by managing those expectations, you're having consistency. People think consistency is always doing your best day. But consistency is, you know, on half term, okay, you might not be able to go to the gym, but can you do a 15-minute home workout whilst the girls are distracted? Can you do, you know, can you make sure that you're getting your 3 meals a day in so that the snacking becomes less? So it's about working with the circumstances you've got.
And it massively removes the frustration then that you've got. You know, if if you're on a fat loss journey, for example, and then you don't get lost that 1 week, you're frustrated. But if you knew the week before, well, actually X, Y, and Z is going to happen, so I'm unlikely to be able to hit that because of this stuff, then, you know, you're okay with it. And you just, you know, go through it the next week and carry on doing that.
Definitely, because unhappiness sits when we have expectation and reality, and it sits in between, you know. And this is the thing that so many people don't get. They think, you know, I'm pissed off with myself just because I am. No, you're pissed off because you shot too high.
Exactly.
You know, and you can't achieve it.
No, you can't. You've got to adapt.
100%. So what did you, because obviously, like, you joined wanting to lose weight. What else, because it's, you know, it's been a year. So what else would you say you've achieved that you maybe couldn't have comprehended when you first joined?
Just massive shifts in mindset, I'd say. It's the big win for me, that, like, reflecting on my own behaviour and how, you know, I am and how I react to things has been massive, because it's not something I've ever looked at before. You know, I know that I can be quite guarded with things sometimes, or, you know, not express my true emotions, but digging and scratching away at, like, why that is, and pushing myself to break through the discomfort of having to do it has helped me massively to, manage myself a lot better. It's took a while, it's took a long time, but I see it now. And, like, the benefit of, like, check and challenging myself on the things that I do have been massive. Like, even at work, it's like, you know, something will happen and then I'll reflect back on it and be like, oh, well, actually, I did that. I could have done it that way. And, like, I'm okay with that. Whereas previously I would have took it very personally and been like, why have you done that? And, you know, stay in your head, like, for the next 3 days and just, like, carry a chip on your shoulder, you know. And I'm very open now to being challenged around stuff as well, where I used to be very much like, well, no, I'm right. That's it. Don't, you know, challenge me, because then I'd take it very personally. But I love being challenged now and hearing other people's opinions, like, oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I've thought about this, and being more collaborative, whereas I just used to be so guarded about it previously. So that's been a massive win for me, and a proper weight off my mind.
Why do you think you were that way?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's probably come down to the fear factor in some way, feeling like inadequate in some way, scared of being, you know, exposed, you know, for not being correct, or, you know, scared to have an opinion, scared to have an opinion about something and then it be wrong, and then, you know, the not being thought of as highly. I don't know, but fear, a lot of fear, probably.
Fear of judgment, fear of it's almost like status, isn't it? Like, if you're wrong.
Yeah.
But do you know what? It takes such self-reflection and self-awareness for you to be able to sit here today and say that.
Yeah, that's it. I can massively see that, like, for many years in many different circumstances, I've worn probably many different masks of who I am. Like, with one group of people, I'll be this person. With another group of people, this person. At work, this person. And it's like, where the bloody hell do you start knowing who you are? And I'm none of those people. I'm probably a little bit of each, you know, mixed together. And starting to remove that and being more authentic is one of the scariest things you can do, like being open and vulnerable to that. But when you remove the ego side of, well, actually, that's fine. It's okay to be challenged. It's okay to be wrong about things. Like, no one's going to die. That's your doctor. But yeah, it's okay. Like, it's okay. What's going to happen? What's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing.
And it's that thing is that,
Learn.
yeah,
Just learn.
that's what I was just saying to our previous guest. And it's you either win or you learn.
Yeah.
You don't win or lose, you win or learn. And fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. So you think it's this massive thing like, oh my God, I'm going to get found out. Like everyone's going to see that I've got something wrong. No one fucking cares.
They really don't do that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, how do we build these things up?
That's it. It's all in your own head. Once you step out of that, you're like, oh, okay.
And what things, so I loved when you did the kind of like visual then of like pulling the masks off.
Yeah.
For anyone who's listening, Caz literally like taking the masks off one at a time. What have you learned that at this moment right now about who you are? Because the reason why I add the bit about who you are right now is because I think in another 6 months' time, it may be a bit different.
Yeah, potentially.
So what have you learned of the like what were those masks and what have you learned about who you truly are right now?
Yeah, I think I previously have put out there that like I know everything happens all together, whereas actually on reflection, I'm very much in a self-development and learning and growing state. Whereas previously I've probably been like, no, I have all the answers, I've got all my shit together, it's fine. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. I'm learning and I'm on a journey as well. So yeah, I'm very much at the moment, I am like a sponge, just like taking everything in, really taking time for me at the moment, investing in myself, and just trying to still at that stage of understanding myself better, and then how I can use that to, you know, have a better life and a better future.
Love that. And it is, you know, obviously you're coming to our Tribe International event, and like I couldn't believe how many people were up for that, because it's such a big ask. It's such a big commitment for you guys to step away from your careers and your families, but it just shows true, like, would Cazzy?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The first time it come out your mouth, I was like, oh, brilliant. FOMO. I'll probably be watching them all in France. It was sat at home fuming. But yeah, I initially thought that. And then when I wrote it down, you know, in the book that I was writing notes in, I was like, how can I?
Yes.
How can I make this happen? Not why can't I? How can I? How can I make this happen? And I just straight away went back and said to my partner, this has happened and I want to go. And I was like, all right. So previously I would have built it up in my own head. These are all the reasons I can't go, this X, Y, and Z. But it was, yeah, absolutely fine.
And again, like, because we've got a couple of teachers, haven't we, who are coming, and it was like, well, they're not going to get back till Monday. Yeah. And it was like, well, how can, like, we can't do it. Yeah. Fucking just go and ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of them are fine. It was mad.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm on that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, to comprehend actually having a weekend away with no children and taking that time invested in myself. But yeah, 12 months ago, no chance.
And to think what that does for, like, people often think when they give money for a transformation or a weekend, they think what it takes, but think what even that action is going to bring to you from a self-worth, a confidence standpoint.
100%. Yeah.
So exciting. So I want to know then, and these podcasts, they're not a platform for selling Coaching Club. It's just relatability. Like, you don't need to big it up. Obviously, you naturally will talk about things in the light that it is. But I want to know, what's been your biggest struggle of this past 12 months?
The biggest struggle for me is completely erasing the kind of all or nothing mindset. I would probably say it's always in the back of your mind, you know, when you've gone through so many dieting loops and circles previously, and just wanting that end goal. It's reconciling yourself with that. It, you know, it's a process, and you have to embody the person you want to be and enjoy doing all those things so that you can get there. It's not about, you know, that end goal, but I've always had a preoccupation with that. So getting out of that all or nothing mindset, accepting the £1, £2 losses every week as a win. And more than that, being able to see the other things that it's brought me going through this whole process, you know, that's been the main struggle. Like, I'm out of it now massively, but Like, and it's funny because when you have like bad weeks, like obviously I've got a little girl, if I go through a week of like really shit sleep with her, I'll find myself having those negative thoughts and being like, what can I do? And, you know, something like stupid to lose a few pounds, or, you know, just that negative inner self-talk. But then I'll be able to quickly reflect and be like, oh, this is just because you're tired. Yeah, don't worry about that. And then get back on track. But yeah, being able to get rid of those ingrained habits has been really, really difficult. And the main thing that's helped with that is the education piece. Like, there is so much in the CC, you know, the previous lives, the educational talks, the coaches, you know, having off the cuff talks with you, the community within the group and the Facebook groups. You know, you can ask anyone a question, or, you know, be vulnerable in that space about something that you're going through, and you'll get the support that you need. So yeah, if you're willing to immerse yourself in that, you're going to get a lot more out of it, which, yeah, that's definitely helped me.
It is. And habits are so hard to break down, aren't they? Like, people, like, look at, you know, you can look at smokers, but then there's the nicotine thing. So let's look at, you know, someone who's always walked a certain way to work. Like, when you do things in a default pattern, it's like if I was to say to you, stop brushing your teeth every day, you'd go to the bathroom, pick up your toothbrush and be like, and it is ingrained. So I want to know from you, where does the all or nothing mindset come from?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I've just always not, I don't know. It's like, is it a time thing? Is it a control thing? Is it just, I suppose I've never really seen benefit of looking at health and, you know, eating well and putting good things into my body as the goal in the process, whereas it's always like the end result. So it's preoccupation with that. And, you know, because you want to get there so badly as well. Like, I've always had up and down weight. So because you want to get to that end goal, it's, you know, striving to get there. And it's just always been a preoccupation. Whereas actually, I'm a lot more happier in myself now that I've done the inner work. So that's kind of took away that problem. But yeah, probably because I've only ever put value on that end goal and that person, rather than valuing all the stuff that goes before it, alongside it.
Yeah, that's powerful. And it's really nice to hear you talk about it, because, you know, if you only value, like, we're doing a 5K and a 10K soon, aren't we? If all we value is getting over the finish line, we don't value the run that you're going to do tomorrow morning, wearing the new trainers and like learning about those and listening to the body and the niggles. On the day, it's probably not going to be that fulfilling, but it will also be packed full of lessons on the day, because you're not learning from the lessons in advance. And it's the same for fat loss. If you are literally just fixated on seeing said number on the scales, one, when fluctuations do happen, it's going to fucking hurt and derail you. Two, it's going to take longer. And three, what a waste of life. Because unless you are going to do something like Cambridge, which is going to make you eat dust and therefore lose weight very rapidly to then gain it all again later. So what a waste of life again. But unless you're going to do something like that, it does take time. But 2 stone over a year is significant.
Exactly. And it's going to stay off. And it's, yeah, because I've now got the habits to support that.
Yeah.
And one of the things lately where I know that there's just been a massive shift is just around how much I'm experimenting with and trying new things for nutrition, and not from the standpoint of, oh, I want to cut my calories.
Yeah.
I want to eat better. I want to eat better and more and just enjoy all this lovely stuff. So how can I do that? How can I try different things and break my previous habits of you must have carbs and meat and a little bit of veg on the side, which used to be my setup. Now it's like, how much veg can I get on my plate? What's my protein source? And like, oh, that's going to go well with that. And just actually enjoying having a healthful plate rather than being bothered about the calories or, you know, whatever else comes with it.
How freeing.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
Rather than it just
And madly, I've seen significant improvement in fat loss since taking that approach than worrying about how many calories I can shave off.
Isn't it mad? But I think, again, if that's your all or nothing mindset that's coming in, if you're thinking about how many calories you can shave off, you're probably shaving too many off, you know, because you're in a race. So if you're fixated on the end goal and you're thinking like desperately get there, you're going to shave off as many as you can to get there faster. But then that causes you into a binge restrict cycle.
100%.
Because then you're fucking starving.
Exactly.
And then the moment your energy drops, which it's going to drop even more because your calories are too low, and then your baby has a shit night's sleep, so you have a shit night's sleep.
Let's go for the chippy for tea.
Yeah, let's just, and then I fucked it now, so I may as well carry on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, and like I know I like as a coach, I actually shouldn't feel proud of my clients because I'm not your mum, right? But actually, fucking it, like chatting to you and hearing, like I want to dig out our initial call and show you that, to just see the difference in you is just monumental. So your main struggle so far has been all or nothing. And that kind of like when energy drops, thinking, oh, like shiny object, how can I shave off a few more pounds, right? What would you say, like, is that still your main issue? If not, what is it?
No, probably not. The other issue I've had is around consistency at weekends.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I said the other week, you know, I see weekends as being out of routine, but they happen every fucking week. So how are they out of routine? But yeah, being able to hold myself to the same standards at a weekend as I do in the week, that's still an ongoing piece of work, but it's something I'm mitigating with, you know, experimenting and making sure, you know, I'm focused then as much as I am at other times. So that's an ongoing struggle.
Sorry, just to butt in there. Do you, when you say same standards at weekends, like I'm a massive foodie, so I like to maybe have a meal out at the weekends, or if I want to, like if I want a chocolate brownie, it could be a Tuesday or a Friday. I don't give a fuck. Like, are you still? Because I'm concerned that some people who would listen to that would be like, "Fuck, she's just militant, like day in day out. She's not enjoying her food." No, tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely still enjoy my food. And I love my food through the week, but for some reason, I just don't do it at the weekends. Like I have an amazing breakfast every day for my breakfast. I have Greek yogurt and berries and seeds, and it's lush and it's, you know, really satiating. But then for some reason on the weekend, I'll grab a packet of Cocoa Pops out for my breakfast, which doesn't fill me up and sends me snacking. So... like, why do I do that? Just maintain, like, you enjoy what you eat, so eat it at the weekends as well. It's just definitely a barrier that I need to overcome.
Yeah.
See, why are my weeks different to my weekends? And in terms of eating out and stuff, no, absolutely. I'll still eat out now, but I'll plan it in.
Yeah.
You know, like plan it in advance, fancy a meal out, where can we go, right? Nando's, or have this, and this, put that all in, and then you know where you're at for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It's not going to be forever. So just whilst we're doing this tracking and getting on the fat loss journey, make sure it's in there. And just like smart swaps as well. Like I had Chinese from M&S the other day out of their range. Their supermarkets are available. And it was lush, and it was far better than a takeaway one anyway. And it was all tracked and all fine, and yeah, just lush. So yeah, it's just, you can still eat well at weekends and lose weight.
Yeah.
But that again is a mind fuck that you need to get your head around. So
people literally, again, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
They think
exactly.
that they have to be militant Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Or that they like massively reduce their calories in the week, ravenous at weekends. So you're not gonna think, oh, I know, let's go for an M&S kind of fake away instead of a proper takeaway, because you're just gonna be tired and you don't want the kind of friction or the, I don't know, the energy to go into thinking about that. You just want to go press a button, get a takeaway delivered.
So to be fair, they probably amounted to one and the same thing.
Yeah, this is true. But again, it's so good to explore these questions. And like, I have visions in the future for you, and I'm not going to tell you them because I don't want to jinx anything, but I see certain things in you that I'm not even sure that you see in yourself yet. So mystic.
I was just about to say mystic vibes.
And so I want to know, like, I want you to explain to me now, with this newfound confidence, with this newfound health, this newfound energy, these amazing boundaries, if you could have a magic wand and say your best future, and like you can't offend anyone by saying it, career or anything, what does that look like? What is your passion? What is your future? How does it look? Like, paint a fucking picture.
Yeah, I really want to get to a place where I spend more time just having new experiences, seeing more stuff. I love being outdoors and visiting new places, whether that be the seaside or mountain areas and whatever else it is. And I want to be able to carve out a life where I can do that more regularly with ease. And yeah, it's just nice. And especially with the girls as well, just making sure their childhood is full of amazing memories and experiences and get to see new things and go places and stuff. I think that is the most important thing for me right now.
And does that align with your values?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are they?
So just around freedom, experiences, family, authenticity, just, something I've struggled with previously. And now I understand why, because I wasn't being fully authentic all the time in the things that I was doing. So now I want to, work at as much as I'm more there now. There's probably still more that I can go to really be confident, cemented in myself and ensure that other people know that.
It's one of those things, personal development, and that is, Coaching Club, yes, it's a fat loss program, but it is so heavily in personal development as well, hence the mindset work, the education. It's lifelong. Not saying that Coaching Club needs to be lifelong, you're not stuck forever. But it is like your journey of this, of you, if some people want to come in, they get a transformation, they learn how to keep it for life, and they go, and then they may just listen to the odd podcast. But I think you're very similar to me. You fucking love audiobooks. You love being that sponge that you mentioned earlier. So it is one of those things of a lifelong commitment of exploration, of figuring things out, of fucking, what do we say? Fuck about and find out, So
there's probably definitely untapped stuff there as well that I'm not even verbalizing as of yet because I'm focused on where I'm at right now. But there's probably a lot more that could come with that once I get along my journey a bit more.
What is that? Come on, you've for you to even say that, there is a little thing in there.
It's more about an abundance of possibility with regards to where I'm at professionally, personally. How much more can I how much further can I go? How much more income can I bring in? Those kind of things. I've always been too scared to look at that because I've massively got imposter syndrome about where I'm even at right now. So to think that there's more that could come is scary. So yeah, there's definitely come.
And on the career aspect, what do you have any sort of kind of Mystic Meg vibes on that, or do you have anything that you're I'd love to do that, or I'd love to try this, or
I just at the moment really want to get better at doing what I'm doing. I'm helping other people to then be the best that they can. So, the things that I learned through Coaching Club or that I learned through educating myself, I'm trying to bring them in as best as I can to my team as well to get them more reflective and on that journey and bring that out of them. But that's a work in progress. And obviously that's where I need to look more at myself and my skills and how I can build on that. And I think then that opens its own doors the more successful you are at doing that.
Yeah, and this is, a big thing that we hear inside CC, because a lot of you guys are team leaders, you're managers, you are around people, and it is about leadership, and it is about using the skills of self-leadership into a team. And it is so rewarding when I hear, rewarding for myself, completely selfishly, but hearing you guys being okay, so I actually use this communication skill that we've learned and I put it into place, and now there's a better harmony at work. That's fucking powerful. And this is why I say that you guys are powerhouses and you're trailblazers, because people in your team will be so fucking thankful that you have done this journey and gone, put time, effort and money into this. They won't even realize it.
Yeah.
But they'll be so grateful for that because of how you lead
in person to who I was, 12, 18, 2 years ago.
Well, if you take even just into consideration that you used to take things personally.
Yeah, exactly. Where's that going to get you?
Yeah. But it's just, it's powerful. So this year then, where are we going? What are you aiming for? Because obviously you're just about to submit your next kind of 6 months inside the CC. Commit to, not submitting a task or anything like that. This is my application. I've learned so much and I continue. But so what is 24 for Caz?
24 is completing my fat loss phase. And then
how far are we off that? in terms of weight?
1.5 stone.
So we're over halfway. That's exciting. And also, if you look at your progress in the past 6 weeks, that has been so fast. And this is what I say to people, it's a jigsaw puzzle, right? And you kind of have to get the edges of the jigsaw in place before you can drop the fucking hammer on the middle bits. And you've put in the boundaries, the mindset work, the personal development and all of that. Like, your edges are done. So now we're filling in the middle. And this is where it's like,
it's exciting.
It's mega, isn't it?
It's really exciting. Yeah, so there's that. I want to do that. As you mentioned before, I've signed up to the 5K race in a few months. So that's a big thing for me because I haven't ran since before I had kids, which is like 5-6 years ago. So, and I'd said one of my goals for this year is doing something a bit more challenging, like taking on a bit of a challenge. So that's definitely tick, which is nice. And then getting a bit more organised financially. I really want to buy a house at some point. So like I'd say, like I focus on certain things at a time. So if I can complete all of that stuff, obviously I can pour more energy into that up and starting to fill up my savings and take the plunge of doing something that's scary and exciting.
And it's just, again, because any big scary goals are going to stay big and scary until you chunk them. So it's going, okay, so if you need a 20 grand deposit, you go, what have you got already and how can we chunk it down? And it really frustrates me when people hate, like, doesn't frustrate me because I get it, but money is taboo and people really struggle to talk about it. And that's why I speak to you guys openly and freely about your finances, my finances, if there's a need for it, because it's like, well, actually, the less shame we can have across the board, the better. And if you could have an honest, which we have had, like conversation around finances, and there's no shame, there's no judgment, that can then open up doors in your circle as well. And it's so powerful because look at stress, like stress across the board. The biggest things that cause stress are lack of health, financial kind of stress, pressure, shame or whatever, and also lack of communication at home. So if we can get all of those areas nailed,
that's it.
Fucking game changer.
And it's not a skill that people are ever taught.
No.
Anything like that. You don't know where to go. You get conflicting advice here, there and everywhere. So having that to your point of someone to bounce off is nice. But you're right. It's something you're almost scared of, like broaching it. Like you want it in the back of your mind, but then you're like, oh, what do I do about it? Or who are you going to talk to about it? So even just verbalizing the fact that that's a thing is huge.
It's one of those things, by the way, I don't give financial advice, just FYI, but it's just having a safe space and it's that judgment. It's like, okay, well, we can talk about it and I don't give a fuck, it's literally just, let's put everything out. And the majority of ladies who join, who just need to do a bit of an audit and go, where are you spending money? What subscriptions are you paying for that you don't use? I have so many people who say they can't, afford coaching club. They fucking can. They absolutely can. They just need to be a bit more savvy with where they put it. And it's a game changer. So think back to Cazzy at the event last year and maybe from January to March, so before you joined. What did she need to hear to embark on this journey with a bit of confidence, with a bit of, I can fucking do this?
Probably just to consider what's been holding you back all this time, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get support. You don't have to do everything on your own. You don't have to keep everything bottled up. The minute you open up and reflect on yourself and accept that you can be better at dealing with certain things and doing things in different ways. Like, it's okay not to have it all together and not to know where you're going with stuff. The minute you do that, the world's your oyster.
Incredible. And what were because that makes me think that there was a fear there of asking for help.
Yeah, probably.
Why?
I don't know. Because I don't know, I've always kind of like to think that I've had the answers myself, or always been that person that other people go to advise.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so stable, you're so level-headed. Oh yeah, you're right. There's that and the other. And actually, you know, there's how you are with other people isn't necessarily how you treat yourself. So yeah,
I love that. And so to debunk that fear, because you have said exactly what MG said, which is hilarious, which is, you know, the like almost like you're on the fence to join CC, or like it's not about plugging CC, so like just going on a fucking journey, right? Because of the fear that other people are going to think, well, you are meant to have your shit together. Yeah. So what has putting your hand up and asking, it's not even help, like I've just helped you come to your truth.
Investing in myself, like the time and the effort to understand myself. And that's it.
And what has, from you doing that, what has that brought that you could never have got on your own?
Inner peace.
Love that. I am now a so peaceful.
Inner peace. Yeah, I'm just so much calmer now. You know, I don't feel the need to, you know, rise to things that I would have done before. You know, I question things a bit more and communicate about things rather than just taking them personally or not communicating at all, and it's all just going on up here. Yeah, I'm just a lot calmer.
And that will feed into your partner, your children, your career. 100%. Incredible.
Because the funny thing is, like, before I'd started with CC, and he would share things with me, you know, different podcasts or things that he'd seen that he thought might be relevant and whatever, and I'd just shut it down. Like, I'd probably take it in my head, but not, you know, say to him, oh yeah, you're right, actually. Oh yeah, we could do it that. Oh, I could do it. But just, yeah, I couldn't accept it from him. You know, I've had to, you know, reach out and do it for myself. Really, yeah. Which is interesting.
That is interesting because, again, like there will be some people listening to this who have someone that they want to help, but they can't. Like, you can be a lighthouse, can't you? You can lead the way, you can inspire, you can keep a safe space for communication, but no one can change unless they are in the driving seat. Do you have any words that you would like to say to anyone who is maybe feeling how you felt before? So taking things personally, you know, overweight, not hating exercise, but not finding the time to do it. Like, what words of wisdom? What words of wisdom and value do you have for that person?
Anything's possible. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. You know, you can't expect to keep going as you are if you not like and get different results.
Yes.
So, you know, prioritize yourself and what you need. You can still then support all those other people and do all those other things, but you know, you're going to be better for them if you're the best version of yourself. So yeah, just take the time to sit down and reflect on what you need to operate at a great level, and then everything else should fit around that.
Yeah, and that is why it is the most selfless thing you can do, because everyone gets a better version of you.
I'm a much nicer person.
That's the thing, isn't it? When you're peaceful, everyone else gets better. So thank you so much for that today. Honestly, like seeing your, obviously we're in fucking chat all the time on every single platform going, but it like hearing you talk today has really like solidified to me, like your growth is just fucking monumental. And like, if the Cazzy a year ago could see you now, fuck me, mate, should be so proud. And like, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm super excited for this next phase. And to everyone at home, if you've got any questions, please send them in. And yeah, thank you, Cass.
You are welcome.
Much love.